This is the Mansfield Matters Podcast, brought to you in association with Actifire Limited, helping your business to stay safe. Find out more at actifire.co.uk. After all of the years I've been following Mansfield Town Football Club, I'm still to learn that they always have the capacity to surprise you when you least expect it. After a very average pre-season, I was expecting very little against Doncaster Rovers on the season's opening day in Sky Bet League One. Alas, the Stags ran out 2-1 winners. Thanks, in no small part, to a very cleverly thought out free kick routine straight off the training ground. Ish. But then, for all of Mansfield's good fortune against Doncaster and good play against Doncaster, against Manchester City's under-2s, the Stags couldn't quite keep the pace and were beaten 4-1 in the trophy which very few people care about, but I do. So there might be a tiny rant coming later in the show. As always, this is the show for you to have your say on your team as we recap on those two games, Doncaster at home in League One and Manchester City's under-2s at home in the cup that nobody cares about as well last night. Plus, we'll look ahead to the trip to Peterborough on Saturday and a lot more in between on the show for the fans, by the fans. This is the Mansfield Matters Podcast. Let's get it going! Hello and welcome back to the Mansfield Matters Podcast. It's episode 2 of Series 10 and we are one game down in Sky Bet League 1 with 3 points on the board. Thanks so much for joining us. If you are joining us on this Thursday evening watching the live feed, as always, you're welcome to have your say on your team in the live feed comments. And if you listen to the audio version of this, then hello to you as well, whether you're listening Friday morning, Friday lunchtime, Friday night, Saturday morning, or December the 19th in the year 2032. You're all welcome to join us. And joining me tonight, I've got 3 Stags mad fans to complete our panel, who, if you watched last week's show, you'll know exactly who you are, because, spoiler alert, it's the same lineup again, just by pure chance. So let's say hello, good evening, and welcome to all of them. Although, I'm going to start off with a man who, actually, you might not recognise, because there's something subtly different about him. It's Clive, New Glasses Parking. Good evening.
Hello, Craig. Good evening, everybody.
Now, I saw you last night before we headed into the ground. You walked around the corner. I was there with my dad on the way to the ground. And I had to do a double take because there he is with some brand new specs. And then you log on again tonight to the waiting room, I admit you, and you've got another new pairs of glasses. Are you now sponsored by Specsavers?
I'm the new old person model for Specsavers. So I've now got about 30 pairs of glasses, you'll see. No, seriously, you know what it's like when you go to the opticians. You buy one, you get one free. I said you buy one, you get one free. And
I mean, you do look a little bit like that guy, Clive, I'm not going to lie.
Whether you need 2 pairs or not, you end up buying 2 pairs. So there you go.
Yeah, that is very, very true indeed. Let's say hello, good evening, and welcome to the next member of the Mansfield Matters podcast panel. Let's go over to a random location. I can never quite tell where he is, but he's here and he's already irritating me. That means it's him. Hello, Mr. Cameron. How are you?
You all right?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not bad.
Now, you might just want to... Go on.
What am I doing?
I was just going to say, just boost your microphone a little bit, because when I went into the edit last week, you were very quiet compared to everybody else.
For God's sake. Better?
But we can hear you, which is, annoying. But we can.
Fine, oh, fantastic.
Just gives me more work to do in the edit, and I can't be asked.
Fitting. Anyway, I'm sick of this weather. Can it go back to being hot again, please?
Cam, you're a ginger. You should know that after 18 weeks of pure heat, you should be glad for a little bit of rain. What's wrong with you, man?
You can't go out in this. You just get soaked. So there's no fun in it. Dog don't want to go out either. So
buy a coat. I'm going to get annoyed with him by the end of the show. I just know it.
Craig, can I just say, I'm already annoyed with him. Get rid of him.
I mean, at some point it will probably happen, to be fair, but only when he least expects it. So I'm going to go to a man who doesn't annoy me, who always brings joy and light to the show, mainly just by laughing at my stupid games and encouraging me to do so. But I will pre-warn him at some point, Nick, your headphones will go off because I will randomly kick him out of the chat when he annoys me. I'm sorry, but it's going to happen.
The first thing I thought was the minute he kicks off, I stand there like an idiot trying to press put. I don't know why it does it. It doesn't. It befuddles me, and it befuddles the Google as well. So I don't know why it does it, but we persevere, don't we? We persevere.
We do. We press on. And talking of persevering, let's persevere, shall we, and talk all things Mansfield Town. As ever, come and have your say on your team. I'll get to some of the comments in a minute. What a way to start the season, though, Cam. We were a little bit unsure, weren't we, this time last week? But we've started the season brightly with 3 points on the board. Start as you mean to go on, as they say.
We did exactly what we needed to do on Saturday. We just needed to see what Donny threw at us and just go and beat it, and that's what we did. And there were moments in the game where you're thinking like, right, we need to work on that. Again, concentration seems to be one of them, especially after the halftime break, just not switching on and not fully being there. Oh, did I just go off then?
Yeah, temporarily, but I think I can hear you.
Okay.
I was No, it wasn't you. It was me.
I thought it was me.
There's new settings. Sorry to bore the people at home. There's new settings which I've figured out on StreamYard where I can echo cancel and I could hear myself coming back, and now I can't.
Okay. Oh, so it's a you problem the entire time.
No, it was a you problem because I couldn't hear myself when anyone else spoke, but I've managed to sort it at my end because I'm that much of a genius. Carry on.
Ooh. Yeah, we just did exactly what we needed to do on Saturday, and that was to bring 3 points home. Well, 3 points, keep 3 points at home. But yeah, that's all we needed to do. First game, you're not going to win the league, you're not going to get relegated. It doesn't really matter. All it matters is what the result was at the end of the day. It's the first game, players have still got time to gel. Nothing to really worry about, is there? Makes a change.
That's very, very true indeed. It was a very positive performance in the end, Clive. And what I especially liked, we'll talk more about Liam Thompson in depth later on, but what I did like was the lovely little free kick routine for our winning goal. That was almost inspired.
Yeah, obviously something they'd worked on the training ground. And I'd like to see a bit more of that because some of our corners are fairly unpenetrating. So to do something which brings, our sure-footed captain into play is a good idea. But I thought apart from about 15 minutes, we had the game in our pocket. The goal they had was gifted because of a poor stepping up of the defence. They didn't work as a unit, and we shouldn't have conceded. But we did. But we ultimately we deserved our win. And I thought Doncaster weren't a bad side, actually.
Now, there was lots of encouraging signs. I did forget to ask you this in the admin bit at the start, Nick. Did Big Tone manage to find a new parking space, which is more important than talking about the game?
I think he crept into a little orifice with his little vehicle.
He does that.
And I think he does that. And I think he was in... Is that right, Clive? I don't know whether we saw the little red.
It was hidden in a bush.
It was almost in a bush, bless him. Yeah, we have showed him the ways of where me and Clive park, which I won't reveal because we don't want it flooded with fans, asking for autographs of a Saturday afternoon.
Again,
but,
yeah.
Again, every bloody time.
We've had to move 3 times.
I know. Yeah, let's support another club at this rate. Unbelievable. But yeah, he was. He's tucked away, so he's somewhere. Coming to a bush near you. Clip that.
As they say. Other positives on the pitch, please.
He didn't park there. You can't park there. It was good. I thought, I don't know what Cloughie said at half time because they came out unbelievably slowly. But I think overall we had. I never felt like, other than that 15-minute spell, and I must admit the pessimistic stag came out in me when they equalised, and I went, oh, here we go. We're going to lose now, aren't we? Akin to last year. And to be fair to them, their guy was clean through on goal, wasn't he? And made a right hash of that shot. Had that gone in at 2-1, I think we'd have lost the game. But after that, we got back to our usual calm self. The goal was great. I thought for the first time in probably 3 seasons, we kept shots down and we scored them both. I'm adamant last year, Reedy and Oates probably blazed those over the bar, because the amount of chances we had the edge of the box last year and we just skied them. So it's really nice to see they've obviously been working on that, other than last night.
Can I say, Nick,
they
were saving those skyward shots for last night.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I
They
saw
were.
some highlights, and my dad just kept texting me, another one missed. But yeah, we kept shots down, and we looked comfortable, didn't we? And I'm sure we'll talk about the standout performers, but we looked comfortable, I thought, especially with the players out that we had. Those 2 that we were missing were probably our better players on the ball. So to have them missing and have Russell have a bit of an off day, I think we did well.
Yeah, he did have a little bit of an off day, but he still sort of ticked over quite well. It's always going to take some getting used to. And what I found interesting, Cam, was a little bit of the differences in style. We saw quite a lot. Well, I heard quite a lot of people around me on Saturday going, "What's Ryan Sweeney doing there? Why is he going wondering? He's out of position." Well, what he did very well is I don't know why it was him and why it was put on him to do that role. But he was the one who ended up stepping up into midfield when we dropped into that 4, just to give us that extra bit of body. And he carried the ball very, very well. And I felt on Saturday that any ball that was sort of coming towards him in the air, he just had it in his head to just go, "Sweeney's ball!" and just absolutely head and kick anything that came his way. It's just like he wanted to smash through everybody on Saturday. I was really impressed with him.
Well, it's exactly what we need. It's all right having really creative and articulate defenders that can ping a ball 40 yards and do that sort of stuff, but you need the brutality of being a centre-back. You need to be able to just head, kick, absolutely everything. Go on.
Can I just clarify that you are not calling Ryan Sweeney articulate and sensible?
No. Depends.
Cam Dalton, we'll give you his address. Sweeney's not a problem.
It depends.
I won't argue with him. Just saying, he's a big boy.
It depends what mood he's in. Had a bit of a shocker last night, but I think everybody did. But anyway, do we even have to talk about that?
Well, yeah, because I need to vent.
Okay, fair enough. But I think we've been in situations too many times last season where we were trying to be too clever with the ball. You think the season that we stayed up, we just didn't do anything with the ball. Last season, we started doing too much with the ball. And now this season, so far, we seem to have found a nice balance of just, if we just need to get rid of it, get rid of it. And it worked well Saturday. So every time, it was obvious the style of football they were wanting to play. It was knock the ball in behind and let Alfie May chase after it, which I think he did once. So, considering the calibre of striker he is, I think we did very well, and that's exactly the sort of role that you need sometimes, just to be able to just get rid of it. Doesn't matter where, just get rid of it.
Another comment that I constantly heard on Saturday, Clive, was about Michael Smith and people going, "Lump the ball up to him, he'll head it and flick it on." Well, if you watch the style of player that Michael Smith is, if you think that he's a head it and flick it on man, you're very much mistaken. He is very good with the ball to feet. He drops deep. He likes to have the ball to feet as well. And I felt that every occasion, Clive, on Saturday that Smith had the ball to feet, something came from it. Him and Oates in particular, even though they'd not had much time together in pre-season, actually worked well together.
Yeah, he did a lot of work that went unnoticed against Doncaster, because I think I understand why people think he's a big tall bloke and therefore he should be the object of the ball going in and use his height to head balls on. That's not his game. It doesn't appear to be his game. He's a footballer rather than a head baller, and I think what he has is an ability to soak up. So balls are fired in at his feet, a bit like Lucas Akins. He gets ball to his feet and he manages to hang on to it, but his distribution, if anything, is better than Akins. But he's got to grow into the game. He's a little bit lazy. I think that's true. Well, perhaps to do with his age, I suppose. But and I think he needs support, and he didn't have a lot of support. But I think the interesting times to come from Mr. Smith. But given the chances that we had in the box last night that fell to Maris, I think he would have put 2 of them away.
Well, I blame Alan for that, but we'll come on to that later on. Let's stay with Smith for now, Nick. And obviously we were missing McGoldrick and T-Rob on Saturday, which came as a bit of a surprise to us, and then we're going to be missing them for a couple of weeks. I felt that the Smith and Oates partnership didn't really... it meant that we didn't really miss McGoldrick and Tyler Roberts too much. But again, we just lack a little bit of depth. When they are fit and available, though, do you think Smith will fall down the pecking order, or do you think he's got an opportunity now to sort of stake his claim and people will fit around him?
I think before I heard Clough's interview, I would have said, yes, I thought Roberts and McGoldrick, even though we've said they're probably potentially incompatible at times, I thought they'd both play. I thought it was very interesting that he actually said, Clough, on his post-match interview, that very rarely, if ever, will Roberts and McGoldrick be in the same team together, which I think we were listed. It was the Radio Nottingham interview, I think, that me and Clive heard on the way home. And I thought that was really interesting, because I think in my head, I just thought, well, they're one of the best two players. They'll just shoehorn them in somehow. But it seemed like that's not how he's thinking, and it might be a bit of a rotation between the two. Maybe that's an acknowledgement of their playing styles, or is it an acknowledgement that one's old and one's injury prone? I don't know. So I think Smith will get a lot of game time. Because there's not many occasions that he doesn't suit. If we're up against it, like Clive said, you boot the ball up to him and he holds on to it. If you need somebody just in the box as a finisher, he can do that. So I think he might play more than we probably think. But I thought he did really well. The only problem we had is a lot of the time he found himself out wide with the ball at his feet, and Oates wasn't the man to be in the box. And a lot of times he got the ball, he looked up, and there wasn't really anyone, to do anything about it. So I think maybe Oates thought potentially that he was going to be the one on the wing or out wide, and Smith was going to be in the middle, and it kind of turned the other way, I think, to the surprise of Oates a bit. I don't think he quite committed himself to the box, thinking Smith was going to do it and vice versa. But that's all about learning a partnership, isn't it, and knowing where the other player is going to be. And that's really important when you're two strikers, isn't it? You've got to know where the other one's going to be. Sorry, Clive.
No, I was going to say that Clough obviously sees those two players as a job share, which is fine, because we need definitely cover, and they're older players anyway, so it would be unrealistic to expect them to do 40 odd matches a season. But it's just a sad thing that we've lost two of our strike force at a time when it means that Clough has got very little in the way of flexibility. So Smith isn't playing in an ideal position or isn't getting the ideal service, but we managed to get away with it against Doncaster. And I could see last night that there was trying different ways of driving forward and didn't quite come off because the quality of the final shot wasn't there. But we have plenty of players available, and there are players who are within a couple of weeks of coming back. And I think the problem with Roberts and Didsey, it is tricky to see how they can play together.
It's a good headache.
It is a headache to have. It reminds me back in the days when England used to try and play Gerrard and Lampard in the same side. You can't do it because they're just too similar. And I think it's good to have the options, and it's good to have the cover, because we know they'll need that cover. All they've got to do is stop getting bloody injured.
Yes, absolutely that. We'll come more onto that a little bit later on. Keep your comments coming in on the live feed and have your say on your team. Tom says, I think credit to Doncaster at halftime. Made a change and went at it. We make a couple of tweaks and got back on top. Yeah, they brought on their number 9, didn't they, at halftime? And for a good 5 minutes, they had an extra man. 5-10 minutes, they had an extra man up top, and we couldn't quite cope with it, didn't know what to do. And I think that shot, which they, where they carved us open a little bit and then turned it wide and left Liam Roberts stranded, that was the wake-up call, and that was the one where we sort of thought, we need to sort of dig back into this a little bit. Thomas says, Smith reminds me a little bit of Harry Kane. He likes to create, drifts all over the place and likes to create, run and hold up the ball, and is lethal from 6 to 12 yards. I would like to see him take on some shots a little bit more, but that goes for the entirety of our squad. We tend to be a little bit tippy-tappy and a little bit too eager to pass rather than take the shot. We need to get the shot off when we can. Keep your comments coming in. Have your say on your team. One man who certainly did impress on Saturday, Cam, was that of Liam Thompson, who, I don't know, it must be the magical powers of the number 16 shirt, because it's like Stephen Quinn has been reborn.
Yeah, kind of just runs around and does the dirty bits of the game, getting really stuck in, and doesn't shy away from a tackle. But I think he's, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot here, he's definitely better than Stephen Quinn. Just the technical ability.
I can't have that. I'm not having it. I can't do it. I'm so sorry, Nick. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I know you're going to hate me for that. You've got to turn your headphones back on. I'm sorry. I'll resubmit him because you'll have to put him on again, won't you, if I do that? So let me do that.
Thanks.
I can't believe that you're slagging off. You were
No,
saying
right.
better than
Hear
Stephen
me out.
Quinn.
Hear me out. If we had a young prime Stephen Quinn that actually had the legs, then fine. He's just, you can tell the quality that he's got, and he's been here in the grand scheme of things 2 minutes, and you can see that he's the sort of player that we've been needing. And I think, it's sort of like that McDonald sort of rough and ready, but got a bit more technical ability.
He's better than McDonald.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's leads apart.
He's down to me. He's had more experience, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I think with Thompson, I don't really get the comparison to McDonald other than the tackling and the tracking back a little bit. I think, and the reason I sort of liken him with Uncle Stephen, other than obviously the magic powers of the number 16 shirt, is just the way that he plays. He carries himself well with the left foot. He's got a good intricate pass with him. He picks passes which people don't see are there. He links up very well. His movement's good. He likes to get down the left-hand side as well. And you can just tell that when he comes on, we just sort of raise our game that 5 or 10%. But the thing is, Clive, we've been bitten by a good debut performance before, haven't we? Especially from young players.
Yeah, I think he's got enough experience and pitch time under his belt not to be that one-shot wonder. I think I like what I see in the lad. He's tenacious, he's aggressive, he's got energy. He's got a degree of skill. He'll get his share of bookings, so we're going to lose him occasionally during the season, I think, on the totting up process. But I think he's exactly what we need, and he's in the right part of the park for us as well.
We've been crying out for somebody like him probably since Ollie Clark left, haven't we, Nick?
Yeah, he's a bit of an amalgamation of a few players that we've liked. So he's probably got the passing of Reed, the tenacity a bit of McDonald, and a bit of the swagger of Quinn, hasn't he? He's a bit of an amalgamation of those sort of three players, and I think he'd have very well complemented the likes of McDonald probably. But I think it's also interesting. I thought he had a really good effect on Reed as well, because I think the pressure on Reed to zip about all over the place kind of left a little bit like McDonald. We all acknowledge that Reed was better when McDonald played because he allowed Reed to do stuff that he likes to do. Flaunt around and take the ball deep and spring passes that we can't even see from the stand, and that's what Reed does, isn't he? But when you had, unfortunately, before we got Russell, you had the likes of Lewis alongside him. He was doing too much on his own, and it really did affect him. But I think Thompson will have a good effect on Reed. I think with Russell, it was a bit interesting, really, because Thompson was that all over the place. I think he just ended up doing Russell's job for him. I really do. I think he was that mobile on Saturday. He was all over the place. And whenever Russell went to do anything, Thompson had already got there and done it. So I thought that was quite an interesting to see how that works. But he's everything that anyone who commented on it before we signed him said, that he'll run around, he's brilliant on the ball, he'll get stuck in, he'll get some yellow cards, you'll fall in love with him after 10 minutes, you'll want him to stay forever. And that's kind of what Derby said. Certainly friends I've got who watch them regularly have said they didn't really want to lose him, and they all said he was probably championship quality. And I know you can't judge him on the IRO rule, as we should probably call it now, judging a player on one game, the IRO rule. But he was superb, and I think we hopefully can stay, like Clive said, injury free. And I think he'll be one of the players of the season without a shadow of a doubt.
Now, what a throwback this is from Jack Smith in the comments. Take a bow, my friend. The tenacity of Stephen Dawson. Remember Stevie Dawson? What a player. What a midfielder he was.
We just need Gus Ullenbeek on his right-hand side now.
Oh, what a squad. What a squad. And the technical ability of Reed. Yeah, I really like him. I think he's really, really good. He zips the ball around really well. Like Matt says in the comments, he lost the ball once in the second half near the centre circle. The guy makes 3 consecutive quick tackles and end up with the ball back after it. You love to see a player that doesn't give up. That's exactly the sort of energy we need when we're trying to play, Clive, the style of football that we're trying to play, which is quick countering, moving the ball really well and, really stretching the opposition. He fits into that mould superbly.
Yeah, and I think once the team has gelled a little bit more than naturally they're not at the moment, I think we're a couple of games short of a team that's starting to understand each other. But I think saw enough against Doncaster to see that they've got the quality there. Because Doncaster weren't a bad outfit, and I think we'll do well against Peterborough because I think Peterborough have got a lot of catching up to do. Providing we play our defensive game properly, we should come away at Peterborough. But I'm encouraged. I think we needed him. We've got him. It was a good bit of business to get him. We're going to miss Evans occasionally. We could have done with him last night, I suppose. We could have done with him on the bench on Saturday. But he's gone. He's history. We move on.
Yeah, we certainly do. Thomas in the comments says McGoldrick posted his workout on Instagram and looked decently fit, so it could be him. Thomas, I posted a picture of a couple of £10 notes on my Instagram earlier. It doesn't mean I'm a millionaire, does it? So don't believe everything that you see on Instagram is all what I'm saying. Yeah, keep your comments in, have your say on your team. Lots of them coming in tonight. Yeah, and lots of praise for Liam Thompson, and lots of sort of people saying that he'd be, a player of the season potential and everything like that. It's one of those things. And the flip side of it, Cam, as well, is we talk a little bit about John Russell having a bit of an off day on Saturday, and you've also got players like Regan Hendry and George Maris who are sort of waiting in the wings. When you get a player coming in and performing like Thompson, if you can continue that momentum and continue that consistency, it's also going to have a bit of a knock-on effect to those, isn't it? It's a real challenge to those to sort of say, look, you need to step up your game if you want to get in the starting 11 and play alongside him, or play ahead of him.
Yeah, especially you look at someone like Regan Hendry, for example, who played at every minute possible, nearly every minute he could, other than the injuries last season, and by far one of our best players, and managed to keep him out of the squad so far. And yeah, he's just got to come in and just keep doing that, really, because it like you said, it gets these other players that need to break into that squad. Games like last night, where you need to be performing and you need to prove it. And how many times did Clough say last season for someone like Dom Dwyer, where they've played in these games and they've not impressed, or they've not impressed in training? And when you only play, obviously you've got all your league games, but you play in the 3 cup games, but you've got one a month. So one this month. Is there one next month and one in October?
Yeah.
Well, it's a long time to be waiting for your chance if you need to try and break into that squad. So you've got to do everything you can when you get that chance, and obviously being knocked out of the League Cup in the first round doesn't help either. So it leaves you down to what you're doing in training and what you're doing in reserve games. And unfortunately, there's some players that definitely aren't up to scratch at the minute, or just aren't where we need them to be.
Speaking of cup games, then we'll come on and talk about last night in just a minute. Michael says, what is going on with Bowery? Of course, he was due to play in last night's game, but on Tuesday when they did the press conference, Mr. Oh My God, Andy Garner, said that just before going into the interview, he looked at the training list, who was down to train, and Bowery wasn't training, so he needs to go and have a chat with him to see why that is, and obviously then wasn't involved last night, which probably meant they had to change things up a little bit. Maybe I don't think, had Barry been available, that Sweeney or Blake Tracy would have played last night. One of them would have been on the bench, but I don't think they'd have really come on unless they needed him to. What's going on with Bowery? Well, it could be one of 7,000 million things, Michael, couldn't it? It could well be the fact that he was definitely spotted by my next door neighbour's cousin's husband's work colleague's dog on a dog walk where he tripped over a branch. It could be that he was spotted by Nick's wife's sister's husband's first cousin twice removed. He was spotted at a fishing lake and he fell in and couldn't swim. Or it could be that he was spotted by Cam playing cards with Clive and Jim and his new mate. It could be any of those things. The thing is, we simply don't know. But one thing I think we can be sure of, Nick, is the fact that it's Jordan Bowery and he'll have probably just been injured.
Probably. I mean, his dad might have called him in for a late shift.
Yes,
down
of
at
course.
the
Someone's got to get the meat in.
Yeah, family always comes first, doesn't it? If somebody drops a massive, a cow off at 5:45 at night, sod the
Someone's got to
pizza
sort
cup.
that.
Someone's got to sort it. He might be an only child. I don't know. He'll be in the he'll be in the butchers. And
Joking
Nigel understands that,
aside,
doesn't he?
Joking aside, I think it's a little bit worrying that Andy Garner didn't know what the situation was.
Well, he didn't know what the situation was because literally a minute before he walked into the press conference, he looked at the sheet of who was down to train and hadn't had time to go and speak to him. He did say that as soon as he'd been finished answering Steve-O's questions that he was going to go and speak to him. So that's just a timing thing. I wouldn't read too much into that.
I'm not reading anything into it, but I mean, at the end of the day, it would have been a game for Jordan to make a claim.
I worry we haven't seen him for a while, have we? And whenever he's come in, he's never let us down. So
he's never let us down.
As a Bowery fan, it's annoying that he's always the first one to drop out. And interestingly enough, when I spoke to the Derby supporter, I know he said that Thompson was the same at Derby. Other players had come in, Thompson would get injured, Thompson would play amazing for 5 games, and then instantly, regardless of how well he played, he dropped out. And I think Bowery suffered with that. I think because we didn't pay a lot of money for him, and he's been here a long time, he's always seems to be the first one to drop out, doesn't he? And he can't get his fitness right now, can he? Which is really unfortunate at the minute. Can't get a break, I don't think.
I think that's probably what it is. There'll be plenty of opportunities for him to come in, and I don't think we've seen the last of him for sure. No, and I wouldn't be worried about it being a transfer thing or anything like that. Let's talk a little bit about last night then, Clive. Obviously, we were both in attendance, and I think the most interesting thing about last night was the fact that Alan's got a new toy.
Yes, he's got a new control box with shiny knobs and sliders.
He was wearing sandals, was he?
Yes, he's very excited.
Shiny knob and sliders. I've never heard of that.
Can I just say that the match last night, in terms of result, was very disappointing. But there are a couple of positives. The main positive was in the last few days they've painted the old bogs that are across the way next to the North Stand and Bishop Street Terrace. The ugly-looking concrete bunker in the corner. That's now painted a very pleasant blue. And they've hung some blue tarpaulins to cover some of the crap imagery that corner contains, presumably because they're fed up of the televised snippets showing the arsehole of our ground at the moment. So, but and the other positive was I thought we learned a few lessons last night. These young lads were fit. They were well trained. They worked together well. They had in abundance what we were short of, which is pace. They weren't frightened of playing football, and they took the chances very easily. We gave them.
Can we sign one chances. Of them? Can we sign
therefore, their 48 was worth signing, but they got a player with 99 on his back. For goodness.
Oh, he's a nice.
Did he have strawberry sauce?
No, but he had a flake in his head. The reality is they've got this huge pool of talent there. And these lads are the cream of that talent at that age group. And it's not a great surprise and it's not a great deal of shame that they should take the game off us. And they did. But we could have had 4 or 5 goals. We deserved to because we made some decent efforts. They were just poor finishing at the end of the day.
Listen, Thomas has just put something in the comments about the winger in the cam. Nobody needs another cam. Oh, you mean central attacking midfielder, not him? Talking of him, I'll come to you. Yes, you. It was, I think, like Clive makes a good point there, doesn't he? Even though it was a 4-1 defeat scoreline, and at least 3 of the goals which we conceded were questionable. We were playing against an academy side that have been training like that since they were, 4 years old, and are probably at the equivalent level to be playing championship football right now. And B, like Clive says, we had so many chances at 0-0 where we could have been 4, 5, 6 goals up. It was just one of those afternoons. Unfortunately, George Maris is never likely to hear Giorgio Mauricio again if he continues to shoot like that.
I nearly put in the group chat last night Maris out, and I thought no, because I don't want to upset Alan while he's working. Oh, poor lad.
To his credit, he got there. He was there with the opportunity, and so he was doing most of the task well. It's just that he didn't have that finishing aplomb that, Rhys Oates and others might have in that situation.
Yeah. And, it's all it boils down to. At the end of the day, they took their chances and we didn't take ours. I was listening to Cloughie after the game and he's just like, well, yeah, you're happy with how you perform, and actually creating the chances was the important thing, and actually being able to create them and then just finishing them off is just like, oh dear, good job it's not a game that means anything, does it?
The other, I mentioned there was two good things. The first one is that they deserved to take the game because they were never off the ball. They were never more than a foot away from their players they were marking, unlike us. But I'll tell you this, Peterborough won't play like that. So I'm encouraged that we going back to League One football, we'll be in a much better position.
If anything, Nick, it just shows that when Roberts and McGoldrick are injured, we are a striker short. And I think actually, as much as Clough sort of says, we're all right in that particular area, I still think we probably need a young striker just to be on the fringes, just in case, because the alternative of Maris playing a little bit higher, Regan Hendry playing a little bit higher, I don't think works that well. And as much as George Maris got into those really good positions last night, and you give him credit for doing that, he might have 10 on the back of his shirt, but he ain't a 10.
No, he's definitely not. I don't think we need to go back to square pegs, do we? In the round holes again. Let's try and get somebody in. I think we all agreed somebody with a bit of pace in some position, and we didn't quite really know what position. We said left back, then that got covered. Did we need a right back if he's never going to play Noyle again? Can we rely on Akins every week, etc., or Mariah Welsh, or whatever? But I think, without a doubt, we need a striker. It may be a versatile one who could potentially play somewhere else as well. But people say about Bowery, but he's not fit at the minute, and he hasn't played there for God knows how long. Lucas again is an option, but I think he's very similar to the other ones there. So I think you need pace, don't we, up front a little bit, just with Oates. You can't rely on Oates every. And from what I saw, Man City last night had pace in abundance, and we haven't got that quite yet. So it'd be nice. Yeah, we've got enough contacts, haven't we? I mean, Forest have got to have a young lad, haven't they? Surely to God. We've got enough good contacts there. We've had Tottenham. We've had 2 loanees from Tottenham before, and we looked after them. They must have someone decent.
But 3.
Yeah, 3. Yeah,
we don't want Craig, didn't we, as well?
Somebody said Iro was at the ground. I don't know how true that is. It might be rubbish, but I don't think he's the right.
No,
he's the right fit. We need a striker, somebody who wants to be down the middle with a bit of pace.
Yeah, someone who wants to get hold of the ball and actually shoot, because that's definitely something which we've been lacking a little bit. Keep your comments coming in and all of that sort of stuff. Thomas in the comments says, you're going to hate me, but rumours have it that young attacker might be TikTok returning. Like Nick sort of said, I'm all right, thanks. I mean, I welcome him back if he does come back, but he would need to seriously perform a lot better than what he did last season. I don't think he's a League One player. To be honest, I don't think he was a League Two player a lot of the time last season. Maybe I'm being too critical. I don't care. I'm playing the adverts. More to come. Get your comments coming in, and we're going to talk keepers after these.
Protect what matters most with Actifire Limited, your trusted local fire safety experts in Nottinghamshire, proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters podcast. From fire extinguishers and alarms to emergency lighting, pat testing and risk assessments, they've got everything you need for your business to stay safe. Affordable, reliable, professional. Because when it comes to fire protection, there's no room for compromise. Call Actifire Limited today or visit actifire.co.uk. Be ready, be safe, act now. Actifire Limited, proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters podcast.
We're the Mansfield Matters crew, making podcasts just for you. Some show up, some disappear, but the stacks bring us all here. Through the ups and downs we stay, talking Mansfield Town every day.
You're back with the Mansfield Matters podcast, the show for the fans, by the fans, brought to you by Actifire Limited. Visit actifire.co.uk to find out a little bit more about how they help your business to stay safe. Well, if they could hand me a fire extinguisher, I would extinguish it on this comment cam. And that is from Nathan, who says, if he, meaning TikTok, Ollie Iro, does return, it'll be a permanent deal, though. Well, you might as well get the load of cash that it would cost for his wages and all of that sort of stuff and set fire to it. It would be utterly, utterly pointless. And I'm happy for someone to clip that up and prove me wrong if it does happen. We don't need him, and he's not good enough.
I think
Leave a bit of leave a
developing-
gap there for the clip when he scores 30 goals. Just leave room for the edit. Always leave room after a statement like that, which I agree with, by the way. Pause. Yes, I agree with that.
I think he can develop into a good player.
Of course he can. He's got talent,
Yeah.
but he had a half a game when
It was a hell of a half a game, Clive.
It was a hell of a half a game. And on that point, at that point, he should have retired.
I will highlight this about him, and we're spending far too long talking about him, and it's irritating me more than Cam's face, and you know how much that irritates me. And it is this, that the one thing I dislike about TikTok more than anything else is the fact that he comes with an entourage, and at Burnley away in the FA Cup, we were sat a row behind his partner or girlfriend or whatever, and at half time about 50 young lads who I don't think had ever had an actual human interaction with a female before in person came down asking for selfies and were causing a queue and everything. Look, just no, there's no place for that at half time. No, just no. And Thomas, I don't not agree. I'm just going off what my sources say. Well, my sources say that I need more ketchup. Moving on to something else, shall we? Let's talk goalkeepers, because last Friday, Nick, we got the news that Owen Mason, who had spent a week on loan, an emergency loan at Gillingham the week before in the Carabao Cup, had made the quite surprising permanent move to Bromley.
He did. He's gone from third choice here to third choice there. Third choice everywhere. He was never going to get a starting gig in League Two and in League One, and I think he'd struggle for a starting gig in League Two, because whenever we tried to loan him out, the only teams that wanted him generally were Conference, National, or North. So I think because he was a youth team player, I think we had overinflated his ability slightly. Albeit, I think we could have saved money on Harry Lewis last season and kept him as a backup. I don't disagree with that, but the problem with young goalkeepers are they've got to play. Because if they don't play, they're never going to learn. So I'm surprised he left and that we didn't maybe keep Lewis for a couple more years and then let him go and bring Mason back with a couple more loan spells. But like Clough said, you can't keep loaning him out forever. At some point, you've got to let him go. I do think potentially it's one of the biggest gulfs on the pitch between the two players, i.e. Roberts and Lewis. But we've got a championship standard goalkeeper, haven't we? Let's be honest. And whoever you have below him is going to be a bit of a disappointment. But I don't think we could have kept on to Mason forever, as much as he was one of the better products we've had for the recent years. But goalkeepers, you've got to be, if you're not in the first team by 18, 19 at the club you're from, it's never going to happen. Because if we sold Liam Roberts, we just have bought someone else. We would never have, in my head, there was never a pathway with Nigel Clough there for Owen to ever start.
No, and at 22 as well, like you said, he needs to be playing regular football, and it's an opportunity for him to go and try and do that. I know he wasn't involved on Saturday for Bromley, albeit, he'd only gone down sort of the day before, so that might explain it a little bit. I don't know if they played in the Nobody Cares Cup last night or whether he got a game or not. I've not had a chance to look, but I know people might go, it's a bit of a strange move in going from third choice here to third choice there. He's definitely got more of a pathway to try and get a career there, that's for sure. But also, Clive, one thing to highlight, it's great business sense from our point of view, because he's not gone for free.
No. I mean, it was a spare person on our payroll, whichever way you look at it. And you can't have a key goalkeeper and two sleeping goalkeepers. It just doesn't work, as Nick said. And it's not fair to the lad. He's got to find a way. I don't think Bromley is necessarily the right way, but that was his choice, him and his agent's choice. I think, by the way, he'll be second there, not third.
I agree.
But even so, that's no great advantage to the lad. He needs to be starting in the 11 wherever he goes. And if I was his advisor, I'd be saying drop down a league and get somewhere where you can play in the 11.
Yeah, it's very, very true.
But there's a lot that happens behind the scenes we don't know, get to know. I would say the other thing as well, to relocate his profession into South London isn't without financial impact either. So there's got to be some money swimming around somewhere to make him go. And then the other thing is Bromley are spending a fortune on players at the moment.
Yeah, they are. They're really trying to sort of, get a foothold and beat the odds of, trying to stay in the division when everybody has got them written off. But this is not Bromley Banter or whatever their podcast is called. It's Mansfield Matters. So we turn attentions back to us. And his departure, though, Cam, has led to a little bit of something that I don't like amongst the fan base, but it happens every single year to a player. And that is somebody becomes a scapegoat. And by virtue of the fact he conceded 4 goals last night, Harry Lewis, for some reason, has become a scapegoat.
I really don't understand that, because last season, the games that he played, he kept clean sheets in every single one of them against teams that were in at the time were in and around where we were in the league. So it'd have been, not to sound dramatic, it'd have been a disaster had we have lost them. Came in, did a job, always knew he was going to be playing second fiddle to Roberts. And, all right, everybody had an off game last night. Does it matter? It's a cup that nobody actually cares about. It's a bit of pocket money if you win and get through. It's a glorified reserve competition now.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating. Like Thomas says in the comments last night, it was the defence at fault, Holt's, whose fault, not Lewis's. Yeah. There was, I think it was the second one, maybe could have done better, but all in all, we just didn't defend very well and give these young lads half a sniff, and they're going to, yeah.
I watched back the goals just before we started because I had to raise them from my mind. Their first goal comes from our own throw-in, where Dodgson fails to win the flick on, and then Lewis Reed fails to win the ball on the edge of the box, and they just cleverly dance the way through. Doesn't really have much of a chance with it. Their second one, they knock it about really well. Again, we lose the ball, and he does get a bit of a hand to it, but it just deflects back out into their path. It was a very unlucky goal to concede. Third one, he had no chance with. Good little bit of burst of pace from the lad. He got down that right-hand side, their left-hand side, very, very well indeed. Cut inside and puts it into the bottom corner. Nice little finesse finish, which Nigel Clough would have been salivating over for sure, because that's the type of finish that he absolutely loves. The fourth one, you could argue a little bit that he could have done a little bit better with. But from watching it back, we're pressing high up the pitch, trying to get ourselves back in the game, and they just counter with a long ball, and he's in. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't there, because I guarantee the same thing would have happened. He comes out of his box to try and clear the ball. Their lad gets there before him, nips it round him and puts it into an empty net. If he holds and stays on his line, the comments would have been flooded with, why didn't Harry Lewis come out and try and close him down? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. He's a better goalkeeper than Owen Mason. He's obviously had more experience at this level. Don't get me wrong, I'm not slating Owen Mason. I think he's a fantastic young keeper, and I really wish him all the very, very best. I'm disappointed for him, actually, that he's just sidestepped and gone to become a third or second choice at League One, where he could easily be a first choice in League Two or the National League. But yeah, Harry Lewis, for me, Nick, shouldn't become a scapegoat, because I think what we actually have got in him is a very capable goalkeeper, and if ever Liam Roberts isn't available, I've got no qualms in him coming in whatsoever. And I think above that as well, I watched his interview on Tuesday. He's a very well-spoken footballer. He's obviously been through some tough times mentally, but he's really settled, and he ticks into that box of what Nigel Clough wants from a player who understands that he is second choice.
Yeah, it's actually a really hard. I can't remember who it was. It must have been talkSPORT I listened to, and they were talking about backup goalkeepers, and it's such a hard position to recruit for, because ultimately you've got to buy someone who's not challenging for that number one shirt all the time, because you can't satisfy both of them. So you physically can't have two who are identical, because one of them will just want to leave. But also, you don't, how many times have we played teams and they played their second choice keeper because they've been injured, and it's like a child in goal. Was it Barnsley who played something? They had like a child in net. We're lucky that we've got an established professional as a second choice who's happy to be second choice. Maybe there's an element he tries too hard sometimes with it, because you only get a bit of a chance, don't you? Like Cam said, you might technically only get 3 games a season if Roberts plays every game. And maybe there's an element of people trying to overdo things, but what football fans in general are really good at is they need in their head something to blame, because we can't have lost because we weren't as good as them. There must be a reason to blame. There must be someone to blame at times, and unfortunately for the laddies, they've decided to pick him. But
it's usually Lucas Akins, isn't it?
Well, I was just about to say, Clive. Weirdly enough, there was comments on Saturday saying about Lucas Akins again, and it's never one player's fault. Even if they have an absolute stinker, there's 10 other players.
Which he didn't.
Which he didn't. No, and I don't think Lewis had a stinker last night. He made some bad decisions, and Russell had a bad game on Saturday. But if we'd have lost, it wouldn't have been his fault. But there would have been a pile-on, and that's what we're really bad at as football fans. It's just we can't accept, and we get too invested in it. We can't just say we lost because we were worse. Move on. We can't do it. It's impossible. We have to, look at England and who got blamed for that, and it had to be somebody's fault. It was Tuchel this time, and last time. There's always somebody we have to blame, isn't there? Let's be honest. And unfortunately, I don't think fans are going to change. And Lewis copped it last night. But had he have saved lots, and it'd have been someone else, it'd have been Sweeney. I saw someone having to go at Sweeney earlier. It would have been somebody. It would have been Maris for missing. It would have been, Akins for not being there. It would have been something. So. Unfortunately, it was a pile on Lewis, I think.
Yeah, and if it's not the players, it's Cowpey and the kit men for washing the kits in the wrong detergent. It's Mez and Mini Mez for cutting the grass at the wrong grade. It's the people who work in the kiosk for burning the sausage roll. Although I quite enjoyed my sausage roll last night, to be fair. So there's swings and roundabouts in every single game going. Let's move on to some news elsewhere then, Clive, and this one will certainly please you because we've spoken time and time again about the academy and it coming to fruition and everything, and that is that Ollie Taylor, the academy graduate, has signed a new 2-year contract at One Course Stadium. The 19-year-old made his senior debut last September in the Virtue Trophy against Harrogate, and he's gone on to make a further 6 sub appearances for the first team. Nigel Clough said Ollie has been with the first team for all of pre-season and will stay involved with the squad depending on the loan situation. He's come through the academy with Coops, Chet's and Charlie, and Stephen Quinn, first team coach, has also worked with him recently in the under-21s. He's a good all-round midfielder and he's come along and developing nicely, as he impressed everybody since being with us full-time. We're looking forward to his continued development. And again, he got to have a bit of a run out last night, didn't he? And I thought he looked quite capable. He needs to bulk up a little bit in terms of his physical stature, but he's got something there which I really, really like.
He wasn't embarrassed at all. I thought he played well. He stayed involved. He certainly wasn't the best player on the park, but that's to be expected. He's got a lot of growing into his career to do, but he'll only ever do it by given opportunities. So it's absolutely right. He should be given plenty of pitch time last night. And I expect to see more on the park this season than we were able to last year. Oh, anyway, what's this Coops and Chets? What's this bloody lingo that Clough's come up with?
Oh, he gives nicknames with it. It's Richard Cooper and Steve Chettle.
Richard Cooper, Steve Chettle, yeah.
But he likes to be Mr. Clough, doesn't he? Is that everyone else gets a nickname and he has to have his full title?
I know. It's whenever people call him Cloughie, I always do a little bit of an inward awkwardness, because I'll never forget that video clip where a kid called him Cloughie and he told the kid off. Yeah,
in front of his dad.
Yeah.
Mr. Nigel Clough, sir, that's what you have to go with. That's how I listed at the urinal, in the famous urinal incident.
But you weren't looking at his face at that point, were you?
No.
Anyway, the other thing on Saturday, but just reflecting back, is I managed to buy some 50-50 tickets. Oh, nobody announced the winning numbers, but I understand they were won by a certain Trippier.
Oh, okay. Were they indeed?
He won the 50-50 draw. I'm sure.
Did he?
I'm sure
Did he put it back into the club?
I don't know.
Probably not.
I'm sure he needs the money.
We never worked out why he was there, did we? No one ever worked out why he was there.
Well, it's clearly signing, obviously.
Obviously, well, yeah. Well, no, because he'd be on the bench because he plays right back, doesn't he? So
can't drop Akins.
Usurp a certain.
You can't drop Akins. No, sorry. Yeah.
No, he has to play up front.
Sorry, Kieran. I know you're an international and all of that, and you've got all this wealth of experience at the top flight, but Lucas.
Yeah, you're playing left wing, mate.
All right, yeah, not a problem. Can we go back to Ollie Taylor, please, Cam? Thoughts on 2-year deal for him?
Yeah, good. I helpful that we've got him tied down, because too often we've not utilised the young players that we've got enough. They've kind of just gone a bit wayward and now playing in the Northern Premier League for Alfreton. So, yeah, looks a decent talent.
Yeah, he does. I think one thing that we do need to do now, though, Nick, is get his development right. You know, going back to Owen Mason a little bit, he had a number of loan spells, but we probably didn't get his development right to get him on the right path. But with Ollie Taylor, we've got a real opportunity here. We seem to be in a better position as an academy. He seems to be more up to scratch than previous academy graduates that have come into the fold, and we need to get him the right loan move now, not just in terms of playing football in that first team senior environment at a good level, but also to give him the life skills which we require of our professionals.
Yeah, I'm sure Cloughie does this, but he just needs a development plan, doesn't he? He needs to make sure he's got opportunity to come off the bench and maybe the odd start here and there. And unfortunately, the thing that happens with most young players is we just sign better players in their position and they never get a chance. You know, look at Owen Mason. If we didn't have Roberts, would he be fighting for a spot earlier? Maybe. But if Robert stays for 5 years, he was never, ever going to get a chance to be number one, ever, was he? It was never going to happen. It's usually easier, actually, to breed youngsters at times of where Mansfield aren't playing very well. You look at youth players we've had before. Jack Thomas came at a time where we were coming out of the National League. Lawrence, Disley and Williamson, all that lot came when we were very, very poor in the late 90s. The better you're playing, the harder it is for young players to play, isn't it? You know, because how's he going to get the chance to prove his League One standard without playing? But hopefully there's a pathway for him. I imagine there'll be a loan at some point, but let's hope it's to a League Two team and not Anstey Nomads. I mean, when was the last time we loaned a player out to a decent standard? That some of them, you look at them and you go, we must be League Two standards, and we just can't get a gig. So I think we need to try harder to get loan players out to a higher standard. I mean, National League is a minimum for me with Ollie Taylor. I think he's got to be playing in front of good crowds and getting stuck in, and you know, and at a good club. But you know, we'll see. We've got enough relationships out there, and you know, maybe a Barrow or someone. I don't know. Somewhat, because he's got. I don't think he's ever going to get the time purely playing at Mansfield, is he? He's going to have to go out on loan at some point. Unless you start to feed him in the likes of, you know, you lose a Maris and maybe you just keep him on, or to replace that sort of off the bench role, and he has to then take his chance. But I guess it has to be up to the player at some point, doesn't it, to grab that position. But it is harder the better we get as a club, because he's competing with the likes of Russell and Thompson now, isn't he? You know, how do you push one of those, and Reed, how do you push those three out the team?
But you're exactly right. He has to go out to a club and show how he was developed. And the club's done the right thing by protecting its asset with a contract. So if he does shine somewhere and someone wants to waive a checkbook, that's a natural course of events, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the exact model we should be following, Cam, isn't it? You know, giving these young players the best opportunity they can to make them the most valuable asset. It's ultimately how, as a football club, you should be supplementing your future. You bring them in, you develop them, and either you blood them and they star and flourish for you, or they flourish for others elsewhere and put a bit of cash in your pocket.
Yeah, and I think you look at players in the past that we've had, Alistair Smith, for example. Great player, great person. What Evans and Flitcroft did to him was dire and shouldn't ever be forgiven, because he was, to be honest, he was one of the first real talents to have really come out the academy that was like a good standard. And he just rotten on the bench most weeks instead of sending him out, getting him on loan. Because when he played, he wasn't good enough. Simply wasn't good enough. He wasn't strong enough, didn't have the tactical nous to be playing at a higher end League Two. And he just rotted away on the bench instead of going out on loan, or he'd be the wrong loans. It was going to the wrong places. And I feel like as a result of a lot of what like Nigel's got going on, as in like just the contacts he's got in the footballing world, we are in a better position to deal with that now than we were in the past. But this is what we mean by getting these loan moves right. Like Owen Mason, again, it was always, he went to Southend the end of last season, and it was he did all right there, and they were pushing at the right end of the National League. Well, was there any reason why he couldn't have gone back there this season?
Yeah.
Or it's just making the wrong decisions with players. So I think we've got to get this right with Taylor, because Cloughy quite clearly rates him highly. Again, he's not going to be just sent out for the sake of going to play football somewhere. Again, it's also that case of, is he now going to stay with us because he fills the homegrown talent squad spot?
Well, there is also that to consider as well, which is a little bit of a frustrating one, especially if that is the case. You need to sort of you need to develop players and not keep them around just to tick a box. But that's another discussion for a day.
It is, and that's, you can come back to the Owen Mason thing, and that's the main thing that he did was fill that spot. He wasn't going to play, so stick him on the bench. He fills that spot. Now it's kind of like, right, we've got the situation of, he's really good. He will get better, but he will only get better by playing. But we also need to keep him because we need to do our obligations to the EFL.
Yeah.
So
very, very,
not fun.
Indeed. Let's just clear up the Kieran Trippier mystery, shall we? Tracy's been in touch. Our eyes in all things in that area. She says Trippier gave the money to help. Shall I do it in her voice live?
Can you do it in the Barnsley?
Trippier gave money to that lady that waited on table in hospitality. It came with Paul Brown. I think that's as close to Tracy as I'm going to get.
You got the Brown bit was wrong, but everything else was perfect.
But there you go. Maybe, that's a lot of people have said that about me. Everything was wrong, and there's a little bit that's perfect, or the other way around. I don't know. And Stace Chat says, completely agree on the youth sector. We should be used a little bit more. Look at the likes of Lawrence, Williamson, Disley, and so on. And so on. Right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, podcast predictions results, podcast predictions guesses, and a choice for our panel.
Protect what matters most with Actifier Limited, your trusted local fire safety experts in Nottinghamshire, proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters podcast. From fire extinguishers and alarms to emergency lighting, pat testing and risk assessments, they've got everything you need for your business to stay safe. Affordable, reliable, professional. Because when it comes to fire protection, there's no room for compromise. Call Actifier Limited today or visit actifier.co.uk. Be ready, be safe, act now. Actifier Limited, proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters podcast.
Hello, it's JB Canine here, the podcast doggo. And it's to all you humans to take your doggo to Mansfield Canine Centre. It's amazing. It's got swimming, soft play, grooming, and a shop to buy all my toys under one roof. You'd be barking mad to miss out.
Mansfield Canine Centre, where dogs come first and tails never stop wagging. Check out mansfieldcaninecentre.co.uk for more.
You're back with the show for the fans, by the fans. Why? Because Mansfield always matters. Right, it's time to get the results to podcast predictions and look ahead to the pink shirt wearing Mansfield Town's trip to Peterborough on Saturday. Hit the jingle.
The game of luck, who gives up, don't mess it up. I hear you say, how do you play? Win, lose or draw, then pick a score and one more thing. Pick a hero, don't score zero, that's the game. But we're not fools, this game has rules. It gets on time, you'll be fine, remember the rhyme. Best predictions. Best predictions. Remember the rhyme. Yes, on time, you'll be fine. Remember the rhyme. Best predictions.
Brought to you in association with Mansfield Canine Centre, where dogs come first and tails never stop wagging. Visit mansfieldcaninecentre.co.uk.
Right, podcast predictions time then, as we give you the results from Saturday's game, the first one of the season, where, of course, it was double points because it was the opening game of the season, and with maximum points with a correct score and the best fantasy player, and then double points on top. 2 people start the season with a humongously massive 50 points apiece. Brand new player Mick C79 and Matt Piercy as well, who led the way quite early doors last season, then tailed off towards the end. Thea Harrison got 46 points too and ended up in 3rd place. 11 people actually start the season with minus points due to the shock omissions of Roberts and McGoldrick, and sat right at the bottom because of that with minus 10 points is our Nick, because he went for a negative score as well. So the overall top
Rubbish.
5 at the minute. In 5th place, Darren Wood, Dominic Harrison and Quinny has got 34 points. Keeley of Her Game 2 in 4th on 36. Thea Harrison in 3rd with 46. Matt Piercy and Mick C79 joint top with 50 points apiece. In the Mansfield Matters group, it's a tie for 2nd place between Emily and Alan, who got 20 points apiece. And then I think based on my fantasy player, I'm top with 28 points, which means we can scrap the competition right now and call me the winner.
I'm 60 points behind already, and we've not even had a week. I mean, that's
one game.
One game. Me and Clive were walking down, and when we read the team out, we both went, well, that's our picks. Absolutely. We're minus already, regardless of the score.
That's impressive.
Minus 10 is very impressive.
Start as you mean to go on, guys. Well, based on that, Nick, I'm going to let you go first. Peterborough away on Saturday. A, we're going, and B, we're wearing the pink shirts. I've got a funny feeling I need to write the letter L.
Why
to
are
start
we
your prediction off. No idea.
Who said we're in pink?
It's on the graphic. We're in pink.
Oh, God's sake.
Pretty in pink. Well, I have a very unfortunate or fortunate habit of predicting the opposite of what happens, which is, it's not great for this game. So I'm going to go for a draw, 1-1, please. And man of the match to be Akins.
Ooh, Cam, you're up next.
I think we're going to be perfect in pink. We're going to win 2-0, and Lewis Reed is going to be my hero, so I don't score 0.
Or minus 10.
We're going to win 3-1.
Yeah.
And Liam Thompson will be my hero.
We are going to win 3-0, and Lewis Thompson is also going to be my hero. If you want to play along with podcast predictions, the link that you need is in the description, and a reminder that you must submit your guesses no later than 90 minutes before you're selected.
Who's your hero,
game.
Craig?
Liam Thompson.
You said Lewis Thompson, so you're automatically banned and barred and abandoned.
I don't think I did, but
He's the fellow out of One Direction, isn't he?
BAR. I said Liam. I'm sure I said Liam. If you want to play along with podcast predictions, you can do so via the link that is in the description. A reminder, you must submit your guesses no later than 90 minutes before kickoff, and you can't pick the same player 2 games in a row. So if you picked Reece Oates last week, don't pick him again this week. Otherwise, you'll get minus points. I clicked the wrong one. I need that one.
The game of luck, who gives up, don't mess it up. I hear you say, how do you play? Win, lose or draw, then pick a score and one more thing. Pick a hero, don't score 0, that's the game. But we're not fools, this game has rules. It gets on time, you'll be fine, remember the rhyme. Remember the rhyme. Guess on time, you'll be fine. Remember the rhyme.
Brought to you in association with Mansfield Canine Centre, where dogs come first and tails never stop wagging. Visit mansfieldcaninecentre.co.uk.
Right, before we finish off, our panel have got a choice, and all they've got to do is say one word, and then something will happen. And that one of those words, you get the choice of 3 words. It's either box, shoe, or mystery. Clive, box, shoe, or mystery?
Shoe.
Cam, box, shoe, or mystery?
Box.
Nick, box, shoe, or mystery? And just to make it a little bit easier, box or shoe?
I have been a massive shoe fan from the conception, so I am going to go with my gut and my heart and go shoe, please.
What's in my shoe? Shoe, 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 shoe. What's in my shoe? Shoe, 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 shoe. Shoe, 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 shoe,
What's in my shoe?
shoe, shoe.
Shoe. That is a great
I'm sure-
jingle. There's
is.
nothing better.
Yes, I mean, all right. People at home are saying that I said Lewis Thompson, but when I submit it, it will say Liam Thompson. So you've got until 90 minutes before kick-off to submit your guesses. So right, we are playing What's in My Shoe. You know how this works by now. I've got a random item in my shoe, and these 3 have got to figure out what it is. They've got 4 questions each. I can only answer yes, no, or maybe, or give them a little steer along the way. And between them, they've got to work out what's in my shoe. If they get it right, they get a point on the Games Champion board. And at the end of the season, whoever's got the most points on the Games Champions board will get a shiny trophy. It's as simple as that. So we're going to go in the following order. We're going to go Clive, Cam, then Nick. Let's get us started then. In just a second, let me go down here and do.
Have you missed this, Clive?
What's in my shoe? Remember, 4 questions each before you have a guess. So, Clive, your first question, please.
Can I eat it?
No. Cam.
Is it? Oh, sorry, I thought it was me next. Go on.
Clive, Cam, then Nick. Cam.
Oh, is it?
Quicker,
it
Cam,
something-
quicker.
Jesus, is it something you'd find in a stationery shop?
Oh, you bugger.
I think you probably would find these in a stationery shop,
These?
albeit. Yeah. Nick.
Have you used this item in the last 7 days?
No. No.
No. No.
No.
I couldn't think of anything else to say, so no. Clive, question 2 of 4.
Is it bigger than your car?
Definitely
Oh,
not.
hello. Wonder where you were going there.
Because it's in my because it's by virtue of the fact it's in my shoe. No. No. Cam.
Oh, is this an item that costs less than £10?
Easily, yes. I would say that you could readily pick these up for about £1 to £2.50, depending on where you went.
Are there more than 20 of these items in your shoe, as in individual items?
There are 52 if you take some out. Clive, 3 of 4.
Is it an item of entertainment?
Yes. Cam.
Oh,
Item of entertainment. Oh,
entertainment.
Time's up, move on.
I know what it is.
You can't
Come on,
say.
Cam.
I don't. Was this? Oh dear. I don't know. Would you find it in your fridge? I don't know. I've lost it.
No, you wouldn't.
No, that's fine.
Nick.
Right, so I think I know what it is. So I don't want to ask a question that's too blatantly obvious because, we don't want to wing this. Is there a royal connection to this item?
Yes. Clive.
That's a good
4
question.
of
that is
4.
clever.
Last question each.
I'm on this problem. I know what it is now, but I can't.
Cam's going to be annoyed now. We're
I
all
get
gonna say,
first chance
exactly
at
what
it
is.
anyway, don't I?
Don't look
So I
at the
can-
chat if anyone's answering it, Cam. I don't want you to
I
know
can.
cheating.
can
Well,
ask
I
anything
thought it
like.
was that, and then I just completely got thrown off.
Come on, Clive.
Do you ever use more than one set of this item?
You can do if you were performing a trick. Cam, your final question.
There's no idea.
Would you find this item in a casino?
You would find this item in a casino, yes. Nick,
It's a
final
croupier.
question. Hello, guys. Lovely,
fi-
all right in there?
Final question. Could you take these on holiday in your hand luggage?
Yes, you could. Right. What's in Craig's shoe? Clive, you're first. Can you tell me, please, what is in Craig's shoe?
Without a shadow of a doubt, what is in Craig's shoe today is a pack of playing cards.
Cam, what is in Craig's shoe?
Pack of playing cards.
Nick, can you tell me what is in Craig's shoe?
Without a shadow of a doubt, it's a pack of playing cards.
I can tell you that after 4 questions apiece, there is an item in my shoe,
If it's a hedgehog, I'm going to be gutted here.
and it is indeed a pack of playing cards.
Yes, it's the 52. The 52
For a
gave it away.
bonus, for a bonus point,
6 of clubs.
I'm going to split. I'm going to split the deck, and all you've got to do is tell me what card you think it is, and if you get it nailed on, I'll give you another point. Clive, what's your guess?
6 of clubs.
Cam, what's your guess?
8 of spades.
Nick, what's your guess?
It is without doubt the 5 of diamonds.
Let's have a look. Oh,
Nobody.
it's a 10 of
No.
hearts.
Nobody
It's a 10 of
got
hearts. Nobody got
Ah.
it. A point each for Cam, Clive, and Nick on the points board, and that concludes What's in Craig's Shoe. Thanks for playing along with What's in Craig's Shoe. I hope you enjoyed that little bit of an instalment. We'll have more games for you next week. I need to get these back in the packet now. Should have thought about that, shouldn't I? I can't do any magic tricks either, to be fair. Did anybody get it in the comments? Did anyone get it right? Weird place to store your playing cards. Yeah, it is a weird place to store them. Although they weren't in there all the time. I literally got them off the shelf before the show, put them in my shoe, knowing that we might do that feature. So just for reference, I don't always keep playing cards.
So
in
are they
my
not going to
shoe,
go in the
although
box? So if we pick box, is there something else in the box already for next time?
There is
It's already
something else
there?
in the box. No,
Oh,
no,
wow.
there is another item in the box. There was a different item in the box.
And just think
So-
what's shoved up his mystery as well.
Well, exactly. You don't want to know what's up the mystery.
On that bombshell.
That's a very different podcast indeed. Turning our attention to Peterborough then on Saturday. Pink shirt, Cam. Obviously, last year we had that horrendous green third shirt and it brought us nothing but bad luck. Convince me that this horrible looking pink shirt, which some people actually do like, is going to be, you know, the one for us this year to break this curse of third shirts. Nobody cares what you think. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Nick's going to throw his headphones out. Clive, it's going to be an interesting one, isn't it, with the old pink shirt? Looking forward to seeing how we get on. Can we break the duck?
It shouldn't make any difference, of course. I think the pink shirt has the advantage of being brighter than that shitty green third strip from last season. So, but I still don't understand why we're using it. We should play in yellow, but there you go.
Yeah. Hello, Nick. Are you back now? He's put his headphones back on. He's trying to figure it out. I waved to him, see if he's there. Are you there, Nick? Is it? Can you? He's gone. We'll give him another minute. Give him another minute. It's gone. It's gone.
I'm
it's
back. I'm back.
Oh no, he's there. He's there.
Jesus
Nathan,
Christ.
Look, I'm sorry, Nick, but still, it's worth the gag, right?
It's worth it. Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. Everyone loves it at home. He's just sat there waiting to be let back in now.
Are you and Cam sharing a router?
What do you mean?
Nick and Cam, are they on the same router?
I should hope not, unless
hope
Cam
not.
moved into your spare bedroom, Nick, and you don't know.
Yeah, I hope not. I always do. As soon as if someone quits of their own volition, my headphones are happy with that. But what they will not stand for or tolerate, Clive, is someone being removed forcefully. They're very passive, these headphones.
Look,
They're very left wing, these headphones. They don't like it.
yeah.
Righto.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, there you go. Colette says, horrible. Lots of question marks. I love it. So do we.
My
Right,
daughter
look,
loves it. She loves the pink one. Absolutely loves it. What more can I say?
well,
Kids love it.
Exactly. They do. It's not for me. But then again, there are plenty of things that aren't for me and other people do like. So there you go. Right, that is all we've got time for. Enjoy Peterborough on Saturday. If you see us, come and say hello and tell us your name so we can give you a shout out next week, where we might see Cam back. We might see some fresh faces. We're yet to see Jim this series. We're yet to see Nathan. We'll probably see him at Christmas. And Emily's currently on holiday and it's her birthday tomorrow. So happy birthday tomorrow, Emily. Outro. And there's the full-time whistle. That is all we've got time for on this instalment of the Mansfield Matters podcast. My thanks, as ever, to the Mansfield Matters podcast panel. And, of course, more importantly, you guys at home, whether you're watching, you're listening, or whether you're just imagining it in your head. Whatever way you consume the podcast, we thank you for doing so. Don't forget podcast predictions then. It's back for the new season and we're looking ahead to Peterborough away, the first away game of the season. You can get your guesses in right now. A reminder that you must submit your guesses no later than 90 minutes before kick-off on your selected game, and you can't pick the same player 2 games in a row to be your fantasy captain. So if you had Rhys Oates against Doncaster, don't put Rhys Oates against Peterborough, otherwise you'll probably lose points. Other than that, there's not much more to say other than enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you at Peterborough, and we'll see you, of course, at the same time next week. Make sure you follow us on all things social media to find out exactly when that will be. See you next time.
So come on the Stags, we know you can win. Let's see a little Mansfield magic. Yellows, yellows, knock the ball in. Oh, we really think you're fantastic.
Protect what matters most with Actifire Limited, your trusted local fire safety experts in Nottinghamshire. Proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters podcast. From fire extinguishers and alarms to emergency lighting, pat testing and risk assessments, they've got everything you need for your business to stay safe. Affordable, reliable, professional. Because when it comes to fire protection, there's no room for compromise. Call Actifire Limited today or visit actifire.co.uk. Be ready, be safe, act now. Actifire Limited, proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters podcast.